Miles behind the back. Salaün. Miles.
San Francisco, fourth quarter. 5 minutes, 43 seconds left on the clock. Olivia Miles grabs a rebound and takes off up the right side like she's got somewhere to be. Janelle Salaün is right there, tracking her, backpedaling, doing everything a defender's supposed to do. Miles gets to her, plants, and just erases her. Behind the back, live dribble, no hesitation. Salaün's feet go one way, her body goes another, and she's stumbling into the paint, trying to remember which way is up. By the time she turns around, Miles is already standing at the free throw line, extended, past the arc, wide open, and the ball's already in the air. Bucket. Lynx up 12. Salaün's still finding her balance. That's the play everybody's replaying this morning. That's the play that made a Golden State forward look like she stepped on ice in the middle of an NBA Finals atmosphere. But that's not even the biggest headline out of Minnesota's 77-66 win over the Valkyries. Not by a long shot. Because a few minutes after she made a defender fall down for a highlight reel, Olivia Miles went down herself. And this time, nobody was laughing. Let's back up though, because if you don't know who Olivia Miles is yet, you need to catch up fast. Because she's not just a rookie anymore. She's the whole conversation. Miles came into this league as the number 2 pick in the 2026 draft. And from day one, she played like a number 2 pick who thought he should have gone first. She didn't ease into the WNBA. She kicked the door down. Averaging just under 20 points a night, 6 assists, almost 5 boards, starting all 35 games she's played in, shooting over 50% from the field and over 40% from 3. Those numbers aren't rookie numbers. Those are numbers that get you MVP ballots. And people around the league have started saying it out loud, that she's in a real conversation with Caitlin Clark for the top individual award this season, which 2 years ago would have sounded insane for a first-year player to even be mentioned in the same breath as. On the other side, you've got Janelle Salaün and the Golden State Valkyries, an expansion team that came out of nowhere and turned into one of the best defenses in the league. Salaün's been part of that identity, a physical, versatile forward who Golden State trusts to guard multiple positions and bring energy off the bench. This wasn't some scrub Miles broke ankles on. Salaün's legit. That's what made the crossover hit different. You don't get style points for beating a bad defender. You get style points for beating a good one, so bad she needs a second to find her legs again. And this wasn't a random Wednesday matchup either. This was Minnesota and Golden State, the 2 best records in the WNBA, going head-to-head with playoff seeding on the line. Every possession in that building carried weight. That's the piece people forget when a highlight goes viral in isolation. It's easy to laugh at a crossover clip out of context. It hits different when you know it happened in the fourth quarter of a game between the top 2 teams in the league, with a home crowd trying to will a comeback into existence. So walk through how the night actually played out. This was the 2 best teams in the WNBA squaring off, Minnesota and Golden State, both fighting for playoff seeding, both with something to prove. And it was Miles' show from the opening tip. She and Gabby Williams played the full first quarter. Golden State came out ice cold, 4 of 17 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, and the Lynx jumped out to a 21-13 lead early. Miles kept feeding people. She dropped a behind-the-back assist on a Kayla McBride 3, kept finding Nafisa Collier and Natasha Howard, and by halftime, Minnesota was up 41-26, with Golden State posting their worst shooting half of the entire season, 24% from the field, in their own building, in front of their own crowd. Minnesota's lead ballooned to 22 points in the third. That's when most nights turn into a laugher and everybody starts checking the bench. But give Golden State credit, they didn't fold. Veronica Burton got hot, Tip Hayes and Salaün started producing off the bench, and the Valkyries clawed off an 11-0 run that bridged the third and fourth quarters, cutting what was a blowout down to single digits. Golden State's crowd came alive. This game was suddenly live again. And that's the exact moment Miles decided to remind everybody why she's the best rookie this league has seen in years. Lynx up 9 with under 6 minutes left, she grabs the board, pushes it herself, and delivers the crossover that's going to be on highlight reels for the rest of the season. Salaün on skates. Bucket. Lead back to 12. Golden State's response gets cut off before it even starts. Golden State didn't just roll over after that answer either. Burton kept getting downhill, finished the night with 14 points, and Salaün paired with reserve Tip Hayes to combine for 27 off the bench, which is exactly the kind of unit production that turned this franchise from an expansion afterthought into a legitimate contender in year 1. But every time Golden State found a rhythm, Minnesota had an answer. McBride matched Miles with 20 points of her own. Collier added 19 points and 8 boards. This wasn't a one-woman show, even with Miles stealing the spotlight. It was a complete team performance against a team that plays some of the best defense in the league, and Minnesota still made them look overwhelmed for 3 quarters straight. Then the tunnel vision moment nobody wanted. Midway through the fourth, working to help on a Burton drive, Miles steps on her own teammate's foot, Nafisa Collier's foot. She goes down hard, stays down for several minutes while trainers get to her, and eventually hobbles to the bench under her own power, noticeably limping. She goes into the tunnel, gets worked on by staff, comes back out to sit with her team, but she never checks back in. Final buzzer sounds on a 77-66 Lynx win, and their best player, their engine, their number 2 overall pick, is on the bench in street clothes, essentially, ankle-wrapped, watching the celebration instead of being part of it. Now here's where you separate what actually happened from what the group chats and the comment sections turned it into overnight. What's confirmed. Miles finished the game with 20 points on 8 of 10 shooting, including 3 threes, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 steals before she exited. That stat line, before the injury even happened, tied her with Tamika Catchings for the second most 25-5 games by a rookie in WNBA history, only behind Caitlin Clark. Confirmed. She rolled the ankle with just under 5 minutes left, stepping on Collier's foot. Not from any contact with an opposing player, not from a dirty play, nothing dramatic like that. Just basketball. Confirmed. Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve had no update on her condition after the game. Confirmed. What's not confirmed, what's just fans panicking on social media because the playoffs are right around the corner. People immediately started speculating this was a serious injury. Some saying it looked like it could be a sprain that costs her weeks, others jumping straight to worst-case scenarios. One fan post that circulated a lot said something to the effect of hoping to God it isn't serious right before the playoffs, and that sentiment spread fast because everybody watching live saw the same thing. A rookie who's carried this franchise all year suddenly needing help off the floor. But there was no diagnosis given that night, no MRI results announced. No team statement beyond Reeve saying she didn't have anything to share yet. Everything past that point, how many games she might miss, whether this threatens Minnesota's push for the top seed, that's speculation dressed up as certainty by people who don't actually know. Be careful chasing headlines that already have the recovery timeline figured out before the team's even released one. Let's get into who these 2 players actually are, because context matters here. Olivia Miles isn't some overnight sensation who came from nowhere. She built her name over years at the college level before the WNBA ever got her, known for a game built on craft, vision, and comfort creating for others just as much as scoring herself. What's been the real story of her rookie year, though, is the evolution of her jump shot. She started this season ice cold from 3, 2 for 18 through her early games, which had people wondering if she'd be a below-average shooter at this level despite everything else she brought. Then something clicked. Against this exact same Golden State team earlier in the year, she hit 8 of 11 from deep in a single game, and she's basically never looked back since. 40% from 3 for the season now. That transformation is why this year feels different from your typical impressive rookie campaign. She didn't just show up good. She got better in real time, in front of everybody, mid-season, against a defense built specifically to make life hard on guards like her. Salaün's story is different, but just as relevant to why this play mattered. She's part of a Golden State team that shouldn't be this good this fast. Expansion teams are supposed to be lottery fodder for a few years while they figure it out. The Valkyries didn't get that memo. They built one of the league's most disruptive defenses almost immediately, and Salaün's minutes off the bench have been a real part of that identity, someone who competes physically every single possession. Getting crossed like that isn't a reflection of her being a bad defender. It's a reflection of what Miles is capable of doing to good defenders on a nightly basis. That's the distinction that gets lost when a clip like this goes viral. People clown the guy who fell down and forget to appreciate how absurd the move actually was. And you can't talk about this Golden State team without giving them their credit separate from this one loss. This is a team that came into the league from nothing and immediately started beating contenders. Losing by 11 to the best team in the WNBA on a night your shooting numbers craters in the first half and still clawing back to make it a single possession game late, that's not a bad loss. That's a team that's going to be a problem for years. Salaün's part of the young core that's going to keep pushing this franchise forward, one hard-fought possession at a time, crossover highlight or not. Cheryl Reeve, Minnesota's head coach, talked after the game about the maturity Miles has shown all year, the kind of poise you don't expect from a rookie who knows opposing defenses are building game plans specifically to stop her. That's not coach speak, that's earned. Because it's one thing to put up big numbers against bad teams. It's another to do it against the second best defense in the league, on the road, in a building that was rocking, in a game that had every bit of playoff intensity months before the playoffs actually start. So what's the real story underneath all this? It's bigger than one crossover and one ankle tweak. This game was a measuring stick between the two best teams in the league right now, and Minnesota went into a hostile, sold-out building and dominated for 3 quarters before having to survive a push in the fourth. That's a playoff atmosphere in August, and Miles was the best player on the floor for almost the entire night, hurt ankle included. The Lynx haven't won a championship since 2017. They've had good teams since then, but not a singular engine like this. A rookie point guard who controls tempo, distributes at an elite level, and now, after fixing her jumper mid-season, can beat you from outside too. Minnesota's front office and coaching staff have to be thrilled and terrified in the same breath right now. Thrilled because they might have found the centerpiece of the next great Lynx team. Terrified because that centerpiece just got hurt in a meaningless regular season possession with the playoffs bearing down. Think about what it actually means that a rookie is tied with Tamika Catchings, one of the greatest defenders and all-around players this league has ever produced, for the second most 20-point, 5 rebound, 5 assist games by a first-year player, trailing only Caitlin Clark's record-setting rookie season. That's not a small comparison. That's Olivia Miles being mentioned in the same breath as 2 of the most decorated names to ever step on a WNBA court, and she's not even 1 full season into her career yet. The MVP conversation isn't hype at this point. It's math. It's box scores. It's a rookie doing things only 2 other players in league history have done, and doing it against elite competition instead of padding stats against bottom feeders. That's also exactly why this ankle situation matters so much more than a typical regular season tweak would. Minnesota isn't just fighting for a playoff spot. They're fighting for the top overall seed and home court advantage through the entire postseason, which in a league this competitive can be the difference between a championship run and an early exit. Every game left on the schedule carries seeding weight, and now the engine behind almost all of it is a question mark walking out of San Francisco on a limp. And that's really the tension defining the rest of this WNBA season. It's not really about Golden State anymore, even though they're legitimately good and pushed a 22-point deficit down to single digits on the road to nothing. It's about whether Minnesota's ceiling, the best record in the league, home court through the playoffs, a real championship push, survives the health of one 23-year-old who's carried more of the offensive burden than almost any rookie in league history. So here's what you take away from this one. The crossover is the clip that gets shared. The ankle is the storyline that actually decides how Minnesota's season goes. Olivia Miles spent one night proving she might be the best player in this league right now and reminding everybody how fragile even the best seasons can be. However, her ankle response over these next few days is going to say a lot more about the Lynx's championship hopes than any highlight ever could. The league's watching. Minnesota's holding its breath. And somewhere in Golden State, Janelle Salaün is probably still trying to figure out which way that first step went.